There's nothing more beautiful than realizing through a breakup that the love that you have is always within you. You don't miss that person. You don't miss who they used to be in the relationship, because let's be honest, you know that they didn't bring much to the table and that it was all you. The love that you truly miss is not the absence of theirs, but the absence of yours and the way that they made you feel and the way that you felt about them. But that love is always going to be inside of you. You will always have that ability to give someone that love and to give yourself that love because it's within you. One day you'll look back to this time when you thought that you were never going to be able to heal and that you were forever going to feel this pain and realize that this breakup was a blessing in disguise and it opened the door of healing for you. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I thought that today we could start by me sharing 10 things that I wish I knew before I went through my breakup so that you can feel a little bit less alone and so that you can have that inspiration and that motivation to know that you will heal and that you will get out of this pain and this suffering that you are currently going through right now. So let's get straight into the video. Number one is that you will heal. I want you to know that you are no different from everybody else that has gone through their breakup. I remember when I would scroll on TikTok or on YouTube and I would look up for like how to forget your ex or how to move on from your ex or how to heal from your breakup, and I would watch these videos of these people saying that they did this, this and that, and then in 6 months time or in a year's time they were completely moved on, and I would think in my head, well, clearly you didn't love your ex as much as I did. I would just think there's no possible way that that could be the case, because there's no possible way in my head that I would think that you would be able to move on from a love that was so strong. But yet here I am a year later and I am one of those people. You aren't exempt from the ability to heal. You have to believe deep down that you are worthy of healing and that you are worthy of finding love, because if you put yourself into the state of mind where you say that you deserve to be suffering or that you deserve to be in pain or that you weren't a good girlfriend or boyfriend or partner, then of course you're just going to be stuck in this cycle of thinking that you don't deserve any better and that you don't deserve to get yourself back on track. Everybody else around you eventually is able to heal, then why can't you? Why do you think that you are one of millions, of billions of people who are able to heal and move on from their ex? You will get there, but it starts with you believing in yourself. Number two is don't stalk your ex or break contact. These are two things that everybody is inevitably going to do, but nothing good comes out of stalking your ex. I will repeat that. Nothing good is going to come out of you stalking your ex. I want you to ask yourself this question. What do you think this is going to do for you when you stalk them? What do you think it's going to do? Because if it makes you feel worse than you already felt before stalking them, why are you doing this to yourself? You are punishing yourself, and you're never going to be able to move on and heal and have new things come into your life if you're always going back to the past and if you're always knocking on the door that you should be walking away from. And for so long, I didn't realize that the only thing that was holding me back from moving on was myself. Do they care about what you're up to? Do they care about how you are? Do you think that they stalk you? Because the chances are all of those answers are a no. And so why are you doing it? Why do you care? Before I would check, I would ask myself, is this going to make you feel better? And if the answer was no, then I simply wouldn't do it, because it's never going to make you feel better. There's never going to be a time where you say yes. And if you're saying yes, then you are being delusional. You are being delusional and you're just looking for an excuse to check up on them. But there will never be a time where you look at your past life or your ex and see what they're up to and feel better about yourself, especially if they're with somebody new. I'm not saying that you should feel guilty if you have already broken contact with your ex, but I want you to ask yourself the same question of what do you think this is going to do for you? Do you think this is going to make you feel good about yourself? And if they haven't given you closure, I want you to realize that that is the only closure that you need. No answers that they give you are ever going to be good enough. These thoughts and these feelings that you have about this person and about your life, this is vulnerable to you. This is precious to you. And if you're giving it away to somebody that doesn't care about you and doesn't respect you, because if they respected you, they would have given you closure. They're never going to change. They're never going to go back to that person that they used to be when you fell in love with them. Nothing is ever going to go back to the way it was. And so you need to stop. You need to stop hurting yourself, because the only person that you're hurting is you. They don't care, because if they cared, if they loved you, they would be with you right now, and they aren't. And I know that hurts, but you have to realize that, because sooner or later, if you keep going back to them, you're never going to move on. They will move on. They will carry on with their life. But you will keep getting back in touch with them, and you won't have that chance to step into a new door because you're so stuck in the room that you've been waiting to get out of. You need to be real with yourself. Do you want them back? Do you seriously want this person back in your life? Because if the answer is no, and if you know deep down that even though you love them, they are not good for you, and that they would not make a good father, that they would not make a good husband, then why are you trying to get in contact with them? Number 3 is that you shouldn't ever feel guilty for the way that you are feeling, or for the fact that you keep repeating yourself to your loved ones or your friends about the way that you're feeling and that the pain that you're going through, or maybe something that had happened. The real ones will not tell you to be quiet. They won't say, oh my God, we've already spoken about this 10 times already, just get on with it, like just move on. My best friend, she listened to me every single day go on about the same stories, about the same pain, about the same feelings. And it goes the same with my family as well. Every day for 6 whole months, until I eventually stopped feeling and thinking the way that I did. Until I eventually accepted that me proceeding to go on about it is not going to change what happened, until I got it all out my system. She never once told me that she was annoyed, or that I should be quiet, or that I've already said that story 5 times already, because that's how people heal. If that's how you heal, then that's okay, and you should never feel guilty for healing that way. And let's say you do break contact with your ex, or let's say you do stalk them. That doesn't mean that you are unworthy, or that you are a hopeless cause, or that you're never going to heal. Don't feel guilty. Instead, ask yourself why you're doing it, but don't hate yourself for it. You should be your own friend. You should be there for yourself. So if you wouldn't be hating on a friend, why are you hating on yourself? Because if you can give another chance to a friend, then you should be giving another chance to yourself. And in that other chance, prove to yourself that you are strong, and that you can do the things that you think that you can't, like not breaking contact and not stalking your ex. Be honest with the way that you feel with the people that love you. Be honest with the way that you feel with yourself. Number 4 is that sometimes you have to fool yourself into believing that they are going to come back. I actually saw this TikTok video of someone saying that sometimes the only way that you can move on from someone is by saying, okay, I will get in contact with them, or they will come back once I'm healed. And that will push you to go through the same healing journey that it would be if you were to take on the mindset of that person's never going to come back, because you will get to that end goal regardless. So you tell yourself that. You become delusional. You set yourself that deal. Okay, if I heal, then I can speak to them again. And I promise you, when you've healed, you will not want to break contact with them, and you will not want them back in your life again. And maybe you don't realize that right now, because I didn't. Because I wanted that person in my life, even though they weren't good for me, because they were in my life for such a long time that I didn't know how to live without them. So setting myself that deal, it pushed me to focus on myself. And then eventually I got to a point where I realized, oh my God, those videos are right. I want nothing to do with that person. I'm happier than I have ever been with that person. And I thought I was happy then, but oh my God, look at me now. Look at the person that I am now. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm a completely different person. And you can be a completely different person. Sometimes you have to be delusional. Sometimes you have to lie to yourself. But when you get to that end goal, you will realize you don't want to get back in contact with them. You don't want to go back to the door that you just locked after years of wanting to lock it but not having the guts to do so. You'll want to move on to your future self, to better things, to a greater love that's waiting for you. You won't want to walk back. But you don't see that now because you're being masked from the future. You're too scared to see it, what can be the future. You're so stuck in the past and in all the photos that you look at and the videos that you look at and the love that you thought you once had with this person. You won't believe it now, but trust me, you will in the future. Number 5 is that healing is not linear. Just because you dip does not mean that you have lost all the progress that you have made. because this is all part of your journey. I've said this quite a lot of times, but I see life as a roller coaster. And if we didn't have the highs and the lows, this roller coaster that we call life would not be fun. We wouldn't enjoy ourselves. We would be completely bored. And so sometimes you need these dips. Sometimes you need to go down to go back up again and to appreciate yourself for going back up again. And so I'm telling you this because there will be moments in your healing journey where you do fall and where you do lose all hope and question whether you're ever going to be okay again. I need you to realize that when you fall, this is what makes you strong. Because if you never fell down, if you never had those cuts and those bruises, you would never know what it's like to feel that pain. Go on with life, skipping, never realizing how lucky you are to be skipping without those trips. You would never see what life could be without that pain. And you would never become the strong person that you are today without that pain. And so you need to fall. You need to spiral and go up and down. And that is all part of the healing process. So don't tell yourself that you are never going to get better because you keep falling. This is important. The universe or God, whatever it may be that you believe in, will test you. I was consistently tested by the fact that I always saw my ex in person. You'll go back home and you'll ask yourself, why me? Why did I have to see them? But that was a test. That was a test to show yourself how far you had come. And if you fall, then that just means you have to get back up and keep going. And you will keep falling and you will keep going and you will keep falling and you will keep going until eventually you won't fall anymore. But if you do, you'll just get back up again because you know that you can, because you will have this portfolio of proof of each time that you fell and then got back up. You won't question whether you can do it anymore because you know that you will be able to do it. Number 6 is that you should never ignore the way that you feel. You need to be upfront about your emotions the minute that you feel them. I want you to take out a journal and write down everything that you are feeling. Scream in a pillow if you need to. Write in all capitals if you need to. Yell if you need to. Write down a list of all the reasons why they weren't good for you, or all their toxic traits, or all their red flags. Get it all out your system. Because the quicker that you do this, the easier it will be to heal. If you keep putting it behind, that's not healing. That is being delusional and pretending like those feelings and those thoughts are not going on inside of you. But eventually what will happen is, out of nowhere, you will become triggered by something, whether it be a song or whether it be seeing them in person or whether it be something that they bought you that you find in your room, and you will burst. The longer you decide to barricade yourself, the longer it will take you to heal and to accept what had happened. Number 7 is, I want you to get rid of anything and everything that reminds you of your ex. This could be clothes that they bought you, this could be teddies that they bought you, it could be anything that they may have bought you or anything that you have linked to them. This could be photos and videos on your phone. I want you to get rid of it all. Now, you don't necessarily have to literally throw them away, but just put them in a box, put them in the attic, put them away where you can't see them. For me, it took me a month or so before I was able to do this, and I would just keep looking back at photos and videos, or looking at the things that they bought me, or the letters that I wrote or that they wrote, and I would think, does all of this mean nothing? Was all of this worth nothing? Was it all lies? And it stopped me from being able to move on because I was constantly looking back. And so what you sometimes need to do is be strong and just get rid of it all. And when I deleted all of those pictures and videos, which made up 70% of my camera roll, it felt like I was wiping my past, and that scared me. But in reality, it was just stopping me from looking back at a past that was not good for me to look back on. Sometimes you do generally just need to put it all aside and just focus on yourself. Number 8 is, I want you to allow yourself to have time where you binge watch your favorite shows or your favorite films, and you listen to sad music and cry and about all the lyrics that you find relatable. Make sure that you have a time limit on it. If you're doing this for 6 months into the breakup, this is not helping you, because you're still reminding yourself, like you were with the pictures and videos, of what you once had, and this is not progressing you at all. It's important to have that period of time, but you need to make sure that you eventually pick yourself up and become tough with yourself, because if nothing changes, then nothing changes. If you're always listening to that sad music, or if you're always crying about it, or if you're always reminding yourself about the pain that you feel, you're going to be keeping yourself stuck in that bubble. You won't be allowing yourself to burst that bubble and to grow outside of your comfort zone and to become a different person. And that's what you want. You want to become a different person. You want to start a new chapter. And so yes, allow yourself to do these things, but set a time limit on it. Tell yourself, okay, by the end of the 3rd month or by the end of this month, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop all of it. I'm going to put aside my sad music. I'm going to listen to positive music. I'm going to watch happy films. Maybe I won't watch things that remind me of them. I'll come back to them. For the longest time, I wasn't able to watch things that I used to watch with my ex, and that hurt me. All of the things I watched with them, I loved. They were things that made me happy. And so when people used to say, oh, just watch your comfort show, I wouldn't be able to do that because my comfort show was the show that I shared with them. And so when I would watch it, it would just remind me of them. And so I had to find new things that I liked and new things that would bring me comfort. And sometimes you just have to do that. In 6 months' time or a year's time, or whenever it is that you heal, you will be able to go back to those things. I've started watching a show that was a pinnacle part of my relationship with my ex, with my best friend, and that makes me so proud of myself. I never thought I would ever be able to watch this show ever again, and yet here I am, proving myself wrong. Number 9, and a very important step in this healing journey, is that I want you to take this breakup as a chance to reconnect with yourself. Whether this means reconnecting with the person that you used to be before this breakup, or if you don't really know how to connect to your past self, or you want to move on to a better version of yourself, connect yourself to something better. Do the things that you used to love doing, or if you don't really know what those things were, then start new hobbies and learn new things and take time to invest in yourself and give yourself all the love that you once used to give to someone that didn't love you for it, or that didn't respect you for it, or that wasn't appreciative of it. You can give all of that back to yourself, and when you get to a certain point where you love yourself so much that you would never let yourself date someone that will treat you with disrespect, that's when you know you are on the right path. Now I'm at this point where I would never in a million years ignore another red flag. It just will never happen. I have gained experience and knowledge from this relationship and from this experience, which has made me a stronger, more independent and powerful woman than I ever thought I would become. And so sometimes you need to go through these bad experiences to realize what you want from a relationship, and realize what red flags look like and what green flags look like, and what kind of person you would want to be with and what kind of person you wouldn't want to be with. The most important thing that I ever really learned from my previous relationship is that I did not love myself as much as I thought I did. If you love someone more than you love yourself, you will never be able to see the red flags. You will never be able to see the abuse, whether it be mentally or physically, because you'll be so blinded by the love that you have for them and the respect that you have for them, but you will never have been able to see the truth, that you will never have been able to see what you did actually deserve and the treatment that you should have received. Only when you come out of that, and only when I came out of that, did I realize that I never would have put myself through that if I just respected myself before I went into that relationship. Because if I held respect for myself, and if I really did love myself the way I thought I did, I would never have let myself be treated that way. I am now thankful and so grateful for everything that I went through, even though it felt like hell. And I'm now grateful for the way that my ex treated me, even though it felt like he was destroying me at the time. And I'm grateful for the fact that he left when I couldn't, because it's made me realize how little I loved myself. And I now just feel sad for the person that I was. And I don't feel embarrassed or cringed by the stupid things that I may have done or the mistakes that I may have made, because I didn't know any better back then. And all I want to do now is just be here for myself and to work on myself and to love myself. I don't want to laugh at myself. I don't want to say that I don't deserve to become a stronger or better version of myself. I don't want to put myself back into that position where I allow myself to be treated that way again. Because I now know, with the knowledge that I have now gained, that I deserve better than that. And so I am going to reconnect with myself and make sure that in the future, I will love myself more than I will ever love anybody else. The last tip for this video is that you will fall in love again, and you will feel love again. There is this terrifying feeling when you are going through a breakup with someone that you adored more than anything in the world, that you will never fall in love again. And it's scary because sometimes you feel like this was your one chance. But I want to remind you that this is just the beginning of your love story. This is just the beginning of your life, and you have so much more to experience and so many more people to meet. People come into your life for a season and a reason. And so there was a reason why this person came into your life and taught you the lessons that you needed to learn. The universe wanted you to take this path so that you could get to something greater and better, and so that you could then knock on the next door of a beautiful relationship that you don't even realize at this moment in time that you will ever experience. And there is love in everything. There is love in the people that you have in your life. There is love in the little things that you do to make you smile. There is love in the way that you romanticize the world. There is love in the surroundings of you. There is love in you. And so you don't need to search for it. It's already there. You just can't see it. I hope that this video helped you and that you're feeling a little less alone. And I want you to know that I'm right here and that you will eventually get out of this pain. It's going to push you to limits that you never would have realized that you could get to without feeling this pain to begin with. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And I will see you in the next video.